let us start our class with the topic biogeochemical cycles. Means these are the cycles which are taking place among the living organisms and the earth. Means flow of the substances among the living organisms and with the earth, it forms biogeochemical cycle. Now you know that biotic and the abiotic components. Biotic components means the living organisms, and the abiotic components like soil, water, temperature. Those, so both biotic and abiotic components, they interact with each other, and because of the interaction of these biotic and abiotic components, there is a stable system maintained in the atmosphere, in the biosphere. It is the part of the earth which is surrounded by living organisms, and this biosphere, in this biosphere there is a continuous interaction between the biotic and the abiotic components, and because of this interaction, this biosphere, it is a stable system. Now, during the interaction, there is flow of substances. That flow of substances, it is in the form of either in the form of matter or in the form of energy. Means the substances are flowing or the energy, and the energy is flowing between the different components of the biosphere. So now let us talk about that how this atmosphere or the biosphere maintains a balance between these biotic and abiotic components. And for that, first of all, we will study about the water cycle. All of you know about water cycle, that water, it gets evaporated from the earth's surface, and from where this water will come. So let us have a look on it, that as the rain falls, this water reaches to the earth's surface. So we are able to see that when the rain is coming or the water is coming, so what is happening, this water, it is falling on the surface of earth, and from that this water, it is entering into the ground, or it is falling on the surface of the earth. So what will happen now? Now the sun rays will come, and these sun rays, what they will do, they will evaporate the water which is present on the earth's surface. So what is written here? Evaporation is the process in which water, it is converted into water vapors. Means water will get the heat energy. This heat energy, it will be given by the sun to the water, and water will be converted into vapors, and this process is known as evaporation. So this water, it will go back from the earth after converting into water vapors. And we were talking about that how water reaches to the earth. When there is rain or there is snowfall, this water which is present in the clouds, it reaches to the earth's surface, and if the temperature is low, then this water, it is converted into snow, and if the temperature is normal, then the water in the form of liquid or in the form of rain, it will reach to the earth's surface. Now, as you are able to see from the arrows, that rain and snow, they are bringing the water from the clouds. Now this water, it is falling on the surface of earth, from where it is being evaporated, and because of the evaporation, this water again, it is going and it is to the clouds, and where it is converting into water, and this water vapors, which are again back converted into vapor, this water form, this is known as condensation. So we will study about the three steps, that is evaporation, condensation and transpiration in this topic. So we can say that during the water cycle, what is happening, the water evaporates from the water bodies. So evaporation is taking place, and this water, it is getting evaporated, and it is reaching to the upper atmosphere in the form of this water vapors, and then subsequent condensation. So we have talked about the two terms, evaporation, water which is present on the surface of earth, sunlight will come, it will be converted into water vapors, and now it will go to the upper atmosphere, and where the condensation of this water vapor will take place, and these water vapors, they will be converted into water. Now the seas and the oceans, but we don't see the seas and the oceans drying up. Means if there is no rainfall and there is continuous evaporation of water, then what will happen? These seas and the oceans, their water level may become less or it may dry off. So what is necessary? That if evaporation is there, then what should be there? There should be rainfall, so that water level can be maintained on the earth's surface. So the whole process in which water is evaporating and falling on the land in the form of rain, and again this water which is flying high in the form of water vapors, it is coming back in the form of rain. So this process, it forms the water cycle. So what we are able to see, that the whole water does not come back or does not get evaporated, because whenever the rain falls, this water is what will happen, this water, it will enter into the soil particles also, and then it will become the part of the groundwater table. So some amount of the water which is present on the surface of earth, it will get evaporated, and the rest of the water which has entered into the soil, it will become the part of the water, this underground water. And this underground water, it is the reservoir of fresh water, because this underground water, it is drawn out for irrigation purposes and for this drinking purposes. So we can say that this water, it is acting as a reservoir of fresh water. Now some of the water which is present underground, it comes out on the surface of earth in the forms of springs also, and some of the water, it is drawn out from the ground in the form of tubes or wells also, and this water, it is utilized by the terrestrial animals and the plants for various life processes. So what we can say, that whatsoever water is falling on the surface of the earth, some amount of water enters into the ground and it becomes the part of the groundwater, and rest amount of the water, it is present on the surface, which is utilized by the human beings, other animals and plants, and some amount of water gets evaporated. So there is a term also known as the transpiration. So what is transpiration? Transpiration is loss of water from the surface of the earth, surface of the trees. Means, because you know that they have stomatas, plants or the leaves have stomatas, and when the stomatas opens, what happens? Some amount of water present on the surface of the leaves, it gets evaporated. So this is known as transpiration. So in the sum up, we can say that we have talked about the three terms. First term is evaporation, then second term it is condensation, and third it is transpiration. Evaporation and transpiration both are same, because what is happening, this is the amount of water present on the earth's surface which is being evaporated into water vapors, and this is the amount of water present on the leaves and which is being evaporated. So both these evaporation and transpiration, in these two processes, water changes into water vapors and it reaches high and it forms the clouds. So in the clouds, these water vapors, they will get cooled and they will form water, and this process is known as condensation. So we can say that there is a continuous flow of water from the surface of the earth to the atmosphere, and from the atmosphere to the surface of earth. So this is known as water cycle. Now our next topic is nitrogen cycle. You know that nitrogen is required by plants and it is very necessary for the plants, because they are in the need of proteins, and that nitrogen, it is supplied, because in the atmosphere 78% of nitrogen is there, but that nitrogen cannot be used by the plant. So what will happen? This nitrogen, it should be converted into nitrates and nitrites so that it can be utilized. Now I have said that there is 78% of nitrogen in the atmosphere, and plants are also in the need of nitrogen. Why they are in the need of nitrogen? Because they have to make the proteins, then nucleic acids, DNAs and RNAs, and some vitamins also. Other than this nitrogen, it is necessary for some other biological activities also, because it forms alkaloids and urea. This urea, it is a waste which is removed out of the body. So nitrogen is an essential nutrient for all living organisms, but these living organisms, or we can say the plants, they cannot use this nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. So how this atmospheric nitrogen will reach to the earth's surface? There are some of the bacteria which are present in the roots of the leaves, especially roots of some of the plants, especially the leguminous plants. Leguminous plants, all of you know that pulses and the beans, gram, all these are leguminous plants, and in the roots of these leguminous plants certain bacteria lives, and these bacteria, what they do, they convert the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates and nitrites, and this nitrate and nitrite, it can be used by the plants for making the essential proteins or the nucleic acids or some other vitamins.